Welcome, everyone. My name is Julia, and I am a career coach and strategist with over 10 years of experience helping ambitious professionals like you find clarity in who you are and helping you align your values and preferences to your career. This podcast is one of the main ways that I share my knowledge, strategies, and experience with you. And if you check out the podcast page on my website, I have all of the seasons organized and easily accessible to find what you need. Along with the podcast, I have multiple courses, resources, and I offer one-on-one customized career coaching covering career exploration, career management, and career advancement. So head on over to ridethetide.collective.com to check it all out. This season is all about controlling your career, and I am sharing the process that I created to help you get started on controlling your career. This episode is all about the final phase in the control your career process, and it focuses on habits. Phase 5 is all about developing and maintaining sustainable habits related to career to help you continue your articulated definition of success moving forward. My goal in the last phase is to help set you up for success for the future. In some cases, additional coaching may be necessary if you're in the formal program, but that's not the goal. The goal is to help you control your career without the need of a coach. Part of the reason the formal program is so intensive, especially in the beginning, is because I am helping you learn about yourself and how you operate so you can manage your career moving forward. That's not to say that situations won't arise where a coach is helpful, but overall, I don't want you to need me. I've learned a lot about habits over the years, and most recently, I've learned this. There are many different ways to get to the same destination. Habits take time to develop, and if you're someone who tends to be disciplined, you'll be able to build and maintain habits quickly. In some cases, this phase might be easy for you because you're already running a solid schedule filled with all the things that you want to do. This isn't the case for everyone. Remember, mental health and your situation will also impact how you approach breaking bad habits and then building new ones. Energy and task initiation abilities become very prevalent here. There are a few different exercises that I take clients through, but the main one that I want to focus on for this episode is schedule analysis. This is the first activity you need to go through in order to start the process of building new habits. And while I use this exercise primarily for habit building, it's also a great exercise to understand your time breakdown better, basically how you're spending your time. And as I've said in previous episodes, we tend to have an impression of ourselves and how we operate that isn't entirely accurate. And this process helps bring that impression into reality. So to start, we're going to monitor and record your time over the next few weeks. Incorporate everything that you do as much as possible. If you spend 30 minutes every morning on social media, whether you intend to or not, track it. Put it in the calendar. Write it down, however you want to track it. If you get called into an unexpected meeting or tied up on a call longer than you expected, change your schedule or make a note to reflect what actually happens. Next, you're going to want to do an analysis of where your time is going. Is there time for rest? Are you disassociating with your free time? I know I've done that, and I did that quite a bit, especially when I was in chronic burnout. Are you in too many meetings throughout the day? Are you managing your time well in general? Is there time for activities that you enjoy? A lot of times things that we want to do, that we enjoy doing, get put on the back burner for other things. Do you regret certain things that you did or ways that you spent time throughout the week? Chances are, unless you're completely disconnected from your job and possibly your life, you're doing a lot more than you think you are with your time. And being able to track your time in this way, again, gives you a really clear picture of where your time is going. And then that helps you look at where are you wasting. I'm using air quotes for those listening to this, but I use that term really loosely because you might think of it as wasting time, but really, are you taking care of your house? Are you answering emails? Where you want to call with somebody? You have to understand where that time's going and understand the importance and how it aligns. So from a career perspective, where can you add time to ensure you're taking action and you're advancing progress on your goals? It doesn't have to be a weekly thing, but even something as simple as posting or engaging on LinkedIn can help your career growth. When we talk about control, your schedule is a central thing that you have control over for the most part. In some cases, you have expectations on your time, but even then, most situations are negotiable. From a family perspective, are you happy with the time you have with your significant other and family, if that is your situation? Is that time well spent? Or are you constantly doing chores of some kind? Not to say that chores aren't important, but are you happy with how the time is spent? Many years ago, back when my husband and I were barely scraping along with our finances, we found ourselves spending most weekends cleaning, and we hated it. Hated it. We wanted our space to be clear and clutter free as much as possible because that helped us from a mental health perspective. But it took time and it was taking its toll on our moods and relationship to spend that much time cleaning. So we made the difficult decision to hire a company to come clean every 3 weeks or so that we could get our time back. And I say difficult decision because this was a huge strain on our budget. We were already on a really tight budget and we had to make some sacrifices, which were really the few things that we indulged in to make it happen. But it changed us, it changed our world, it changed our perspective, and honestly, like, it made our relationship better. And it seems like such a small change, but it gave us time back. And for us, that was worth the sacrifice of eating out or grabbing coffee outside of our house. And that's really what we were giving up in that scenario. Auditing and analyzing your time is a process I recommend doing every so often, especially if your commentary on time negates the work that you're doing in your job or at home. If you want to go the extra mile for this exercise, track your energy levels with different tasks and throughout the day. From there, you can adjust your schedule to maximize your highest energy levels. For example, the majority of my client calls happen in the afternoon because this is actually when I have lower energy. And I know that that seems weird, but I'm very alert in the morning. And so I need that time for writing, designing, and thinking. Anything that requires me to really think abstractly and have to have some kind of process, that is the time when I have to do it. Meeting with clients simultaneously boosts my energy and then promptly drains it. So it helps to have those calls in the afternoon or the evening. Similarly, I don't usually take more than 2 to 3 calls or clients in a day because it ultimately drains my energy. So again, it might seem really contradictory for me to take calls in the afternoon when my energy is low, but because I know my clients really boost my energy for that time that I'm on the call with them, I know that I'm going to be alert and I know that it's going to be a good time. It's going to be exciting for me to talk to them. And so it balances out throughout the day. And as a business owner, I have more control over my schedule now than I used to have. Working for someone else requires adherence to the expectations and needs of the department. In my case, I was coaching way more than my energy could manage. Along with meetings and creative thinking work, I was chronically burnt out. And there was little to no recovery time for my energy, and it was constantly depleted. Will this be true of everyone? No, I happen to be an introvert and generally someone with low energy. And so I have friends who have a ton of energy and they don't get tired throughout the day the same way that I do. So everyone is different. There is no right or wrong here. It is all about management. Once you are done with the auditing process of your schedule, you understand your energy, you have all of this information, that's when you can start to build your habits back up. And what that looks like, again, is different for every person. How it happens is different for every person. You likely have some information about how you have been able to build habits in the past, and start there. Again, this process and what I go through, I have multiple levels. I'm not going to get into all of the details. This is enough for you to get started, just understanding how you function, where your energy is, and where you can add things that you want to do. Habit building is a lot of trial and error, but definitely give yourself at least 20 to 30 days or so of doing something repetitively in order to build that habit. For things that aren't going to be a habit on a daily basis, you still want to work that into your schedule somehow and make sure that it's something you are making time for and not putting off. All right, we made it to the end of the Control Your Career process, and my hope is that you start this process through the actions that I have outlined throughout this season. In the next and final episode of season 8, I will be answering your questions and common questions that I receive about the Control Your Career process and the program. So what's the action for this episode? I think it's pretty obvious, but audit your schedule and analyze it to the best of your ability. Determine what changes can be made to help you align your energy and your schedule better. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.